Is President Biden on the way out? What does it mean for markets, gold, and Bitcoin? Find out as experts dive into the potential political shakeup and its market ramifications. Plus, discover which stock sectors could excel or falter in our slowing economy. Get ahead of the curve with insider insights and predictions. Like and subscribe to stay informed on these critical financial developments. Your portfolio might depend on it. Today, on Financial News in Review, we will summarize the following videos. From Kitco News, we have Can President Biden be swapped out as Democratic candidate? What it means for markets, gold, Bitcoin. From David Lin, we have The Best and Worst Stock Market Sectors in Slowing Economy, Chris Retzler. In this eye-opening episode of Kitco News, host Michelle McCory dissects the speculation surrounding President Joe Biden's potential removal as the Democratic presidential candidate following his lackluster performance in the recent debate. The episode features a dynamic panel consisting of Wendy Patrick, Richard Roth, Michael Lee, and Todd Bubba Horwitz, who share their insight into the political and market implications of such a move. The key focus of the episode is the mounting discourse within the Democratic Party about potentially replacing President Joe Biden as their candidate due to his underwhelming debate performance. This move stems from concerns among party strategists and megadonors about Biden's ability to effectively lead and campaign, especially against a formidable opponent like Donald Trump. Here are the key points discussed by Wendy Patrick, prosecutor and president and founder of BlackSwanVerdict.com, Richard Roth, Democratic strategist and founder and partner of the Roth Law Firm, Michael Lee, founder of Mike Lee Strategy, Todd Bubba Horwitz, chief market strategist at BubbaTrading.com. Reaction to Biden's debate performance. Biden's first presidential debate performance sparked criticism and concern about his fitness for another term. Prominent Democrats like David Axelrod and Van Jones have expressed the need for discussions about Biden stepping aside. Renowned economist Paul Krugman also urged Biden to voluntarily step down in an op-ed. Potential replacements and procedure. Discussion on potential Democratic candidates who could replace Biden, such as Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, and even Michelle Obama. Explanation of the procedural aspects of replacing a candidate at the convention and the legal obligations, or lack thereof, for delegates. Market implications. Analysis of how markets might react to a potential candidate swap and why there was little immediate reaction to Biden's debate performance. Discussion on factors like inflation, government spending, and energy policies impacting market stability and investor confidence. Wendy Patrick, prosecutor and president and founder of BlackSwanVerdict.com. Richard Roth, Democratic strategist and founder and partner of the Roth Law Firm. Michael Lee, founder of Mike Lee Strategy. Todd Bubba Horwitz, chief market strategist at BubbaTrading.com, made the following predictions. Biden's likelihood to step down. Panelists provide varied opinions on whether Biden will step down, with speculation about his potential to redeem himself in upcoming events. Concerns about the chaos and ugliness that might ensue if Biden is forced out, potentially impacting voter turnout. Market direction, under different scenarios. If a Democrat wins, expect persistently high inflation and a narrow market leadership concentrating in tech stocks. A Trump victory could lead to a collapse in energy prices, a broadening market rally, and regulatory changes boosting economic activity. The panel concludes that while replacing Biden might make strategic sense given the current scenario, the efficiency and optics of the process are critical. They stress the importance of focusing on broader economic implications and advise caution leading up to the election. A notable call to action revolves around diversifying investments into assets like gold and Bitcoin to hedge against prolonged economic uncertainty. Welcome to David Lin's channel. In today's episode, we're joined by Chris Retzler, a portfolio manager at NM Asset Management. Chris provides in-depth insights into the current economic slowdown and its implications on different stock market sectors. With extensive experience in managing portfolios, Chris has a comprehensive understanding of the market's inner workings, enabling him to offer a balanced view without any notable biases. The central thesis of the video is that the U.S. economy is experiencing a slowdown, which will have varying impacts on different stock market sectors. Chris Retzler discusses how this deceleration, unlike past recession-triggered downturns, appears to be more controlled and sustained, ultimately affecting inflation rates, the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, and sectorial performance within the S&P 500. Here are the key points discussed by Chris Retzler: economic slowdown and implications. Post-COVID economic hangovers, such as inventory overbuilds, have led to a more prolonged normalization of growth. Chris expects a U-shaped recovery rather than a quick rebound, with normalization seen by the end of the year. Technology sector, leading the pack. The tech sector is leading the S&P 500, driven by sustained growth in companies related to AI and R&D. Chris sees opportunities in infrastructure upgrades, data centers, and the upcoming refresh of hardware due to AI advancements. Inflation and Federal Reserve's policy. The economic slowdown is reducing inflationary pressures, especially on labor and housing costs. Chris suggests inflation rates will decline by year-end, potentially favoring lower interest rates. Sectoral performance, healthcare, and regional financial institutions are expected to underperform due to pressures on pricing and refinancing issues. Defense and military modernization sectors are expected to see growth due to global geopolitical tensions. Corporate margins and performance. Chris points out the importance of companies maintaining margins by managing inventories and working capital efficiently. The performance of small and mid-cap stocks is expected to improve once the economic recovery stabilizes. Chris Retzler made the following predictions: inflation reduction and lower interest rates. Chris predicts a decrease in inflation rates as the economy decelerates, leading to the potential for the Fed to lower interest rates. Sector rotation in stock market. He anticipates a broadening out of performance from tech-heavy leaders to other sectors towards the end of the year, particularly as liquidity improves. Chris Retzler emphasizes the importance of monitoring economic indicators, such as unemployment rates and currency implications, for a complete understanding of market conditions. He advises investors to be cautious about overexposure to specific sectors like tech, and to consider diversifying into other promising areas like defense and infrastructure. With a focus on managing portfolios efficiently and anticipating shifts, Chris suggests that the disciplined management of inventory, R&D, and strategic rebalancing could position investors well for the upcoming market changes. In these insightful videos, experts weigh in on President Biden's potential removal as the Democratic candidate and the subsequent market implications, along with a deep dive into the best and worst stock market sectors amid an economic slowdown. Wendy Patrick, Richard Roth, Michael Lee, and Todd Bubba Horwitz shared concerns about Biden's debate performance and its political fallout, predicting varied market reactions under different political scenarios. Chris Retzler offered a thorough analysis of sectoral performance, highlighting tech and infrastructure as potential winners, while healthcare and regional financials might lag. Despite differences, both panels emphasize the importance of diversification and staying informed on economic trends. Experts are divided on Biden exiting, yet agree on strategic investment approaches. Stay tuned for more expert-led discussions and market insights. Thanks for watching Financial News in Review for July 1st, 2024. If you'd like more time-saving content, please remember to like and subscribe. If you have ideas for more channels you'd like to see summarized, drop a comment below. See you next time.